Greg Powers, TexasFootball.com, Dave Campbell's Texas Football. And like we do every week, we're joined by a top recruit in the state of Texas, the Lone Star State. This time, the Woodlands College Park defensive back, Marcus Scott. Thanks for joining us, Marcus.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me on.
Man, a lot of big things going on in your life recently, but I got to start with some really good news or some stuff that you recently earned. Bringing home that gold medal at the state track meet. Won't you just kind of tell us what you won and tell us what that experience was like?
Oh man, it was wonderful. We won state in the 4x400 meter, the relay, and it was a crazy experience. Being on a college campus and running in front of that many people on the biggest stage possible and bringing home the gold. That's what we've been talking about all year long. So to finally achieve that goal, finally climbed the mountain. We were finally at the top again, got another U.S. #1. It was amazing. It was a real surreal moment, whenever we crossed that line to finally, clinch the gold medal.
Just tell us what it's like getting to slip that gold medal around your neck, man. Not an experience everybody gets to have.
It was amazing. I still do it every now and then. It's because it's still, a big real moment. Every time you put that medal on, just knowing that you're a state champion and no one can ever take that away from you.
You've also had some big moments on the gridiron, and I want to talk about the district championship, man. Y'all went into the last game and then kind of played for all the marbles there. You were able to knock off the crosstown rival in the Woodlands. Walk us through that game. It was a close game. Just kind of talk and relive that moment there for us.
Man, I will say it was a movie of a game because a teammate of mine he had a parent pass away that week, so we were playing for a lot more than just the district championship. We were playing on behalf of him and his family because he played with us. So that whole game, back and forth for the district championship, it was like a movie. They would score, then we would score, they would stop, then we would stop. I would say in the middle of the game, I was thinking, we're gonna win this game, but man, like this is probably it was one of the most up tempo hype moments you could be a part of. Because then my teammate, scoring the game winning touchdown, it just capped it all off. The game winning defensive drive and then the game winning offensive drive all going together is for the district championship on the crosstown rival on the last game of the season. There's no you can't describe a more movie moment than that.
Yeah, man, that's a remarkable way to end the season. Maybe one of those type of things that I think a lot of people overlooked in last year's Texas high school football season, how big a win that was for y'all, and to make that statement in your city. I think that was a big moment for College Park. You've got a lot of experience. You've made your commitment to LSU. Obviously, you're one of the top defensive backs in the entire nation. Everybody that's listening to this knows a little bit about who you are. That's pretty cool, I think, for a young guy. But what was it about LSU that really jumped out to you and made you want to pull the trigger?
Is DVU. You know, Actually, I had whenever I started my recruiting process, I did a lot of research on which schools, perennially put out defensive backs, and of course, LSU was at the top. LSU was actually the top school on my list. So for them to be my first offer, to have that same want back that I wanted them, it was amazing. Just developing this relationship with these coaches over time too. And then just watching them play, watching every single defensive back. Because right now, my favorite defensive back is Derek Stingley Jr. Even before I was committed to LSU, so just getting to be there and getting to be coached by the same guy that coached him, it would just be such a dream for me.
Uh, it's not that far from home, so your parents are probably happy that you're going to have a chance to play closer to home. Are they pretty excited about that?
Absolutely, because it's just far enough away to where you can be an independent young adult, but it's also close enough so that you can still have that parental guidance. I would say to where you're not completely on your own while you're making the transition.
SEC ball, man. I mean, that's a big deal. You're going to get to play against Texas A&M, Alabama, Florida, Georgia. Um, I know you probably grew up watching those guys on TV. How excited are you to see some of those guys lined up across from you?
I would say that it's a dream, because as I've grown up, I've watched Alabama win the Natty year in year out, and then this past year, LSU got their Natty. Just SEC ball has been taken over, so it will be amazing to be a part of that because those are the most hyped up games out there. To have a game like that, two powerhouses colliding, and I'm in the middle of that. That's always been a dream to me to be the center and standing in the middle of the spotlight.
Which game you got circled? I know everybody talks about Alabama, LSU nationally, but being from Texas, is that Texas A&M game going to mean maybe a little bit more to you? I know you probably got some buddies that are going to be lining up across from you.
Absolutely. Texas A&M is really big where I live, so it'd be more like a crosstown rival game for me. Because I'm already here, and yeah, of course there will be people that I know at Texas A&M from Texas, from where I'm at.
Um, Talk about defensive back. First off, you have the size of a safety, but the skills of a corner. How do you see your game transitioning to the next level? What position fits Marcus Scott the best?
Definitely outside cornerback, because tall, lanky, speed having cornerbacks are taking over right now. They say speed kills. I have the speed. I have the size. As soon as I can put a little more weight on, get rocked up. I mean, there will just be no stopping me. That's why I see myself transitioning best at the corner position because having the fluidity, the mobility and the speed of a corner while also having the size of a safety is just a massive advantage on the outside whenever you're going against the big receivers.
I like to, I've evaluated a lot of Texas high school football talent over the years. A lot of top players have always come out of this state. But I love the defensive back position personally. That's the one that I really get excited to watch. And I like it because it kind of gives you a game to play individually in the team game. No more on that football field or is a guy that has to line up and play one-on-one, consistently and go against top guys. Just kind of talk about that mentality you have to try to lock down the other team's top receivers.
Absolutely. Well, to be a corner, you got to be kind of crazy. You have to walk the borderline between being cocky, and I would say being cocky and being confident. You got to be confident in yourself, and you also got to have that swagger about yourself whenever you go out there because them receivers they're gonna come with it every single time. A receiver's job is to try to expose a DB, so you got to have the same mentality going right back at them. You got to be stronger with it because there's receivers they'll go in and out, they'll switch around, but as a DB you'll take every single one of them. So you got to have that swagger, that confidence. You got to walk. You got to walk with a lean. That's why my dad always told me you got to walk with a lean with you. You got to have a little swagger with you. You got to be a little crazy to be out there on the island by yourself. Just you got to be confident in your abilities.
You always played defensive back. Was there anything else you played growing up? Are you ever a guy who liked to get his hands on the football?
Oh man. Well, I actually started off playing quarterback. I started off
Okay.
playing quarterback. I moved to receiver. I've even had my fair share of running back. So I have an offensive mind. I know how offensive players think. So that's what also gives me another advantage of being defensive back. I have the size of a receiver. I catch like a receiver. So going against receivers, it's like second nature. Going against myself.
Are you trying to work in a little more offense this year for your senior year? You and the coaches hear about that?
Absolutely. I've been in their ear about giving me my little runner receiver because I just think with my skill set, my abilities, that I could be a very good asset for any team. So on any side of the ball. So I've definitely been in their ear about that.
Anybody who listens to Texas football today knows that we're big foodies, right? Like we love to talk about food across the state and going in and check out some of the top restaurants. Give us that spot in Houston, man, that we have to come check out if we're in your area.
It's Biggio's. It's always gonna be Biggio's. That's the number one spot. If you in Houston, Biggio's is the spot. Especially is right next to the Astrodome, named after Craig Biggio. It's a spot that you have to go to if you're in Houston.
We'll definitely be checking that out. Anytime the THSDA convention rolls through Houston, we'll have to check out Biggio's and see what it's about every time. So thanks for the time, Marcus, and congratulations on all the opportunity. If you want to show everybody that LSU shirt before we go,
Yes,
There he
sir.
is. He's Marcus Scott, and he's all about Go Tigers, man. Thanks for the time again.
Thank you.